FAST exploded, right? FAST is free advertising supported television. It fits nicely in the LG lineup. It's a top 5 service. We watched this explosion. We tried FAST for years with companies like Divx and Net2TV, and there were so many companies that looked at FAST before FAST exploded. And then all of a sudden one day, it just worked. So Evan, any idea why that explosion happened? What was the right timing that came in place?
I think there were a couple of different things that converged. There's never one answer to that question when a paradigm shifts that quickly. A big part of it was lockdown. So Americans and people around the world bought substantially more connected televisions during the couple of years of COVID at the height than they were planning to. Earlier in the cycle than they were, more rooms that they were putting them in. And so the move away from the dongle and towards the pure connected television, the speed of the chips inside the TVs, the amount of programming all coming there, and the amount of available time that people had over those couple of years, I think, was one of the great accelerants. You also have the largest, most diverse generation in the history of the world, Generation Z, coming of age during this same period of time. And also, coincidentally, an oversubscription by people in the ecosystem to paid products. So as all of these things converged, we adopted and adapted to new technologies and new platforms at a rate that was substantially faster than it was leading up to that, driven by these younger consumers on new devices with more programming available and more time to do it. So I think that when you look at all those things combined, I think one of the big moves that people aren't necessarily aware of is that over the last 5 to 6 years, the home screen in the home has moved from the small screen to the connected television. The biggest, best proximate screen is now the winner inside the home. Outside the home, in bars and airports and doctors' offices, there's a big screen there. But on a bus or if you're killing time, you're going to use your phone. But in the home screen is now the connected television. So you put all those things together, and I think that helps explain where we are with FAST.
Yeah, great. And Scott, let me get you in on this too, because Plex has had so many different ways of satisfying consumers over the last 15 plus years. Plex has been on LG's roadmap of offerings for a long time in different ways. So how did FAST change what Plex wants to do to satisfy customers?
Yeah, I think the pandemic had a lot to do with it as well. I think we definitely saw a huge spike during that time period and allowed folks to experiment with what they've been thinking about and hearing about, cord cutting or cord shaving, and this gave them the opportunity. They were stuck at home, and they're like, I'm going to give this thing a try. And they realized, okay, actually, I can pull this off. And that's when we saw a significant lift in usage, but also the notion of the content that had been distant for so long. All of a sudden, most of this content was going to be available. So, today we've got 600 some odd channels available here in the U.S. and hundreds in most other countries. It's been an arms race, basically, in the who can say they have the most channels. And so I think a lot of it was driven by folks stuck at home. The content quality has gotten so much better, and the user experience. So the ability to basically find what it is that you're looking for is getting better. I would say it's got a long way to go, but it's gotten better.
Yeah.